Hello there, Ray here, and we got a brand new 1.14 snapshot. Now this is the first pre-release. This is 1.14 pre-release 1. This means that they are confident enough that they want to start allowing the players to start playing this more frequently, like in their actual worlds, and giving feedback to them on different bugs that they should fix as well as major problems that they see in gameplay. That means it's your guys' opportunity as well as mine to look into different things and see what exactly can be improved as well as point out major bugs before they do the final release. Others and myself have been keeping track of quite a few different bugs that have been causing problems. We will be doing a video pointing out some major ones that should be fixed prior to the full release of 1.14. But in this snapshot, they're just not announcing that they're getting ready to upgrade. They also did a whole bunch of bug fixes as well as a couple new features. So today I will be going over all the changes. And I would love to hear your guys' feedback on any major things that you come across if you're playing the 1.14 snapshot or doing any testing in them. They did some optimizations, including inside optimizations to the world screen. So this option is available when you try to update a world. So here we have a world that's a 1.12. This is my wither-powered mushroom farm. And when you go to upgrade it, you can always click play, but you can also optimize it by going to edit, clicking optimize world. This is where they'll try to set the world so that when you go into it, it doesn't create a bunch of lag. But you can see that there is a new option here to erase cache data. So this removes data like the world height as well as lighting. So that way when you go ahead and load the world, it will make it so that it'll remove all that stuff so that it will have to recalculate it when you load the world. So in case you have some lighting that is off, or there's like a really tall structure and it's not putting the proper lighting underneath, this should fix all that problem. Then you can just hop into your world. This is the world about my wither skeleton mushroom farm, which I'm going to upload a video about. But the majority of this new snapshot is all about bug fixes. Let's get right into it. They fix a bug to do with small mobs being able to suffocate in water when they're swimming around. And this was noticeable by little things such as like baby fox, and really noticeable for like cats. You see the line is quite low in baby cats, and what was happening is that they were easily suffocating because they weren't getting enough air. It looks like the way they change this is they kind of allow the cats to bob more, therefore they should be able to replenish their air more easily. And there's a baby pig, and then we got silverfish in here. Yeah, silverfish, he's even bobbing really nicely there. Here we got a rabbit and a baby rabbit. Mobs are rotating their heads very quickly, and they have fixed this. There was a very strange bug where you could place scaffolding directly onto leaf blocks, and then the scaffolding would try to glitch between being a block and being an entity falling. And you guys showed me this really cool trick to do with the scaffolding glitching like that, but they have fixed that. But it seems like they have also changed it so you can no longer place scaffolding on leaves to start with, or like on the side of a block, which was possible before. You can always go ahead and extend it so far out that when you place another one, it will drop, it will immediately pop off and break as an item. Now there was a bunch of other little crazy bugs that we were testing during our snapshot stream. I really enjoyed doing these snapshot streams with you guys, hopping on the server and testing everything with you. But the way that the trick that I showed worked is that you would put a block that was higher than a full block, so like a fence or a cobble wall. Then you would drop this onto it, and what it would do is it would try to connect to this, and it would sit on top of it. It would try to sit on the exact block line as this, therefore it would be clipping inside of this since it's taller than one block, and it would end up doing is falling right through it, which is a pretty cool thing to see. And I'll try to link some clips of that down in the description from our stream. But now you can see all it does is it just pops off as an item. Now it seems that they have brought back the nitwit, as I see he is now in the villages. He's a green guy here, and I didn't see him for quite a while. And he's the guy you're not able to trade with, so if you right click him, you'll see how he'll shake his head. And if you trade other guys, they'll kind of shake their heads, but you typically can trade with them if they have a job profession, but this guy don't have no job profession. Yeah, it seems that the majority of the villagers in the village do not actually have jobs, so maybe they actually have to find their little workstations before they even think about having a job. Usually they just generate into the game with already a job. They fix it so that tall grass won't just generate in the middle of villages without first detecting what type of blocks are underneath of it and seeing if it's a valid place to be set down. They fixed a bug to do with large chunks just going completely black and not being able to see what was inside of those. They fixed a bug to do when you place down a whole bunch of blocks, sometimes the light source wouldn't go through it properly and the light wouldn't update, so it still looked like light was going through like a bunch of solid blocks. They fixed a kind of annoying bug to do with pufferfish, is when you would summon them in with a different type of states of puffing, so if they're like a little bit larger or smaller, they would end up changing their size even if they had the no AI tag applied to them. This occurred quite often when I was doing that video about all the different types of mobs in Minecraft and how rare they were. But you can still see another bug that is present. When you summon in mobs, the air stat, which is how much air they have, is immediately always start out by having it at 0, in which case it causes stuff like fish to immediately die. Or if you spawn something inside of water that normally shouldn't be there, then immediately start taking damage from drowning. They fixed a really strange bug that when spiders would try to climb up a structure, they could end up going right past it and continuing to fly upwards. They now made it so that trading llamas will no longer be able to just sit in your world forever, so they are going to be able to despawn. And before, they just keep piling up and you might have like hundreds of these guys sitting around your AFK point. And of course, the wandering traders would despawn by themselves. They now remove that problem where barrels are always trying to set their open state to false. And this is probably why in that one video I showed the barrels were always making a constant humming sound. And they also fixed a crash to do with the barrels ticking. They fixed a bug that iron golems were spawning in unusual rates at villages, and the rates were very extreme where they were almost legging down people's servers. So it's not really a nerf to the iron golem spawns, it's just a bug that they found that was occurring in some people's worlds. For like the 4th time, they have changed the texture of the loom, so they kept putting the texture on the wrong side, facing backwards and everything, and had the texture on the bottom wrong one time. But I think they finally have got it all right, so this might be the last change to that. They changed the eye level of a player when he's in the Riptide stance, so now that his eyes look more normal. They fixed that bug to do with the Hero of the Village effect, where you could go in and trade them, and then they would give you a discount, and then you could leave and click them again, and then they would add the discount to it again, and eventually getting all the prices down to the lowest amount. They fixed a bug to do with fish, drowns, and guardians not spawning, and you can see it's working great. We got some fish here. They fixed a bug to do when a zombie wakes a villager out of the bed, it was still causing the bed to say it was occupied, and therefore no one else could ever join it. Zombie villagers who were spawning in zombie villages were having an excessive speed effect. A couple of snapshots ago, they actually changed it so that every time there is a village that turns into a zombie village, which there is a 5% chance that villages when generated will be a zombie village. There will be no light sources in the village, and instead of having villages, there'll be zombie villages inside. But what they changed is that they added cobwebs into these structures, so they're really easy to see. You can see some kind of cool stuff, like here we got a snow layer on top of a cobweb, which typically can't be done, but I really think this is a cool change that they add to it. But there still seems to be some light sources in the very center here where they have the meeting point. Man, this church over here looks really cool. All the cobwebs and like the steeple part over here. They fixed that bug to do with if you would shift click the trades, it would immediately lock them and not give you all the items. They fixed the trades of the Fletcher so they'll no longer be able to sell you luck arrows. And Rock and Roll for Life said there is no current plans to add the luck effect into survival. But I really hope that they would add it in because it's a really cool benefit that could possibly help endgame players. They fixed a bug to do with villagers not running away from Ravagers, Pillagers, Vindicators, Evokers, Zombies, or Husk. During our stream, we show it's possible to be in the sneak mode underneath of like a slab and still be able to do the sprint while underneath of it. So they said they have now fixed this, so let's just go ahead and give it a try. So once I sneak underneath it, you can see I'm going really slow. I'm not able to sprint or even walk normally. They fixed a bug to do with arrows where if they fall straight down, they were constantly in a loop where they just kept falling and they wouldn't be able to be picked up. And they constantly made this noise, and it was really annoying during our stream. And the only way we were able to get rid of them is by putting blocks on them, and then they would eventually despawn. They fixed a really annoying problem where players were crouching with a delay. It still seems kind of slow, and this was really apparent when you're like working in creative and you're trying to like shift click stuff onto other things while you're trying to build. And just having any slight delay when able to shift click really prevents you from building efficiently. They now fixed it so if you click inside of a lectern, you notice that the background gets dimmed. They fixed a bug to do with chunks not loading if you would change your render distance. They fixed kind of an annoying bug which you couldn't slide the sliders, and it was really strange, like if you change this setting over here, it would move this slider over here. They fixed a bug to do with mob spawning when you have a render distance under 11. If you guys know that mobs are able to spawn around the player, and what was happening is that they were spawning out far and then they're just getting stuck out there and were unable to despawn. And that's why a lot of times you have servers will put their render distance to 11 or like 12 in trying to avoid this. I'm really curious exactly what they did to make this change. They fixed a really annoying bug to do with command blocks. As soon as you would enter it, it wouldn't have your little cursor up here. Instead, it would just be somewhere else. And then every time you'd have to click into here if you wanted to change something. And overall, these changes that they made to do with like hitting tab to allow you to switch to other parts inside of the command block has actually made using commands more difficult than more easy. Because a lot of times when I'm done, I would like to hit enter, but sometimes it would like pop over to here and then I couldn't hit enter to exit it. This villager here, he can't seem to sleep properly. Every so often, he hops back out of his bed. Yeah, it looks like he got kind of slid over there. I don't know if he's trying to... I think he's trying to talk to this guy over here, so he's leaving his bed to talk to him. show you guys that really strange bug where you can like go inside of a trapdoor and then you could close the trapdoor and make your person go into like crouching mode. Apparently this was like also like an X-ray bug, but they have fixed this. It seems that they have changed it so that the vines that are generated with these pillager outposts won't just be stationary, they'll actually be able to grow. You can see this one here has kind of migrated over top of the door and looks pretty cool. That is all the changes for 1.14 pre-release 1. And don't forget to give your opinion about this snapshot down in the comments. And remember, tonight, guys, is the snapshot testing stream where you guys can join our snapshot server. Be sure to give this video a like as well as subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!